We are on page 101. We did this as our warm-up. Let's look at this. So I write down the base, which is 9, 2 plus negative 1. That would be 9 to the first power, which is just 9. This one, again, I write down the base of negative 4, 7 plus 2, so negative 4 to the 9th power. Over here, 8. Now these are both positive, so you really don't need the parentheses because this is positive. There isn't a 1 there, so 7 plus 1 gets 8 to the 8th power. This one, these are like bases. 1 to the 2 plus 2 times 4. 1 to the 4th power. Well guys, 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. So this just comes out to be 4. On this one, remember that there is a 1 right there. So 3 to the 3 plus 1 plus 4, I get 3 to the 8th power. This one right here. This right here, those are the coefficients. There's an invisible 1 right there. So negative 2 to the 7 plus 1. Then I have an x, that has an invisible 1 right there, times x to the 5th. Then we have a y to the 4th times, that's a 1. So I have negative 2 raised to the 8th power, x 1 plus 5, y 4 plus 1. This gets me negative 2 to the 8th power, x to the 6th power, y to the 5th power. Okay, let's go here. My coefficients I do first. So I have a 2. I have an x to the 3rd. I have an x squared. I have a y squared. I have a y to the 8th. 2 just gets written down. Then I have to add my exponents. When they have like bases, I add my exponents. 2 to the 5th power, y to the 10th power. Coefficients, I have a coefficient here and here. 4 times, oops, I don't know why I put the 4 first, but 4 times 2 or 2 times 4, same thing. I have a y to the 3rd. Remember, this is a y to the 1st and a y to the 7th. 4 times 2 is 8. Then I add my exponents. Over here, I have a 4, I have a 2, I have a 3. Then I have an a to the 10th, an a to the negative 2, and a to the 4th. So I multiply these together and I get 24. A, 10 plus a negative 2 plus a 4. So 10 minus 2 gets 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. Down here, I have a 7 and a 4, so 7 times 4. Then I have an x squared, and remember that has a 1, so x to the 1st. Then we have a y to the 4th. There's no y on this one right here. There's no y there, so I don't need to write anything down. Then I have a z. Look right here. There's a z to the 1st. I need to write that down, and a z to the 10th. So this would get me 28x, 2 plus 1, 4. Plus, nope, no 4 plus anything. It's just 4, and a z, 1 plus 10. The 28. X to the 3rd, y to the 4th, z to the 11th. This one, I have a negative 4, I have a 2, I have a 3. negative 4 times 2 times 3. Then a, I have a to the 5th. Guys, each one of those has a 1. I have an a to the 1st. I have an a squared. Then over here I have a b to the 1st. I have another b to the 1st, and I have a b to the 2nd. Then I have a c to the 4th and a c to the 1st. So I multiply these together. I get negative 24. A to the 5 plus 1 plus 2. Where'd I get that? These right here. 5, 1, and 2 are the exponents. B's, I have a 1, I have a 1, and I have a 2. C's, 4 plus 1. So negative 24, a to the 8th, b to the 4th, and c to the 5th. Okay. Again, I have a negative 2, a negative 2, and a 4 squared. Negative 2 times negative 2 times 4 squared. Okay, these should probably be in parentheses. Then I have a q. I have a 0 power. I have 1 to the 2nd power. Then I have an r to the 7th power. I have an r to the 8th power. And I have an r to the 10th power. So this is negative 2 squared. This is 4 squared. Both of those are squareds. So that means we still have to simplify them. And then we add these exponents. So this is going to be 4. This is going to be 16. And then q to the 2nd, r to the 25th. So that's what, 64? Okay. Then the other page we're doing, I believe, is page 96. Right here. Page 96 is we are. So 7 times 2. Then I have x to the 5th. I have x squared. I have y to the 5th, and this has a 1 here, so y to the 1st. So this is 14, 5 plus 2, 5 plus 1, so I get 14 x to the 7th, y to the 6th. Okay, so that means it's this one right here. This one. I have 7 times 9. I like alphabetical order, so I'm going to do alphabetical. And then n's, I have an n here, but remember that gets a 1. So n to the 1st times n to the 4th times n to the 0. So this would be 63. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. 2 plus 2. Then n, 1 plus 4 plus 0. So that would get 63 m squared n to the 5th. Then here, I get 5 times 4 times 4. I get x squared times x to the 3rd times x to the 5th. I get y squared times y to the 1st, because that has a 1 in front or up above. So 5 times 4 times 4, it's going to get me 80. 2 plus 3 plus 5. 2 plus 1. So 80 x to the 5th, y to the 3rd. Did I mess something up? Oh, I did. I don't know how to add. I do not know how to add. That's to the 10th. Like all of a sudden that doesn't make sense. Sorry about that. Okay, so I look at these. I have 5 times 7. I have m squared. I have m to the 5th. I have n squared and n to the 1st. 35 m to the 2 plus 5, n to the 2 plus 1. So 35 m to the 7th, n to the 3rd. Here, I have 3 times 9, u to the 5th, and v. Those there's nothing to do with those because they're not like bases. Okay. Number 6, I have 6 times 4 times 3, x to the 1st, x to the 2nd, and x to the 3rd. I have remember these have 1s there. This has a 1 there. I have y to the 1st, y to the 4th, and y to the 1st. So that's going to be 72, x to the 1 plus 2 plus 3, y to the 1 plus 4 plus 1. So that would get me 72, x to the 6th, y to the 6th. This one, 3 times 10, x to the 3rd, x to the 4th, 30. 3 plus 4, so 30 is x to the 7th. This one, we have a 9, then we have an x, that's to the 1st power. This is to the 1st power. Make sure you're remembering those first powers. That's to the 0, this is to the 5th. So I have 9, x to the 1 plus 1, 0 plus 5, so 9x squared, y to the 5th. And this one. Oh, I don't think I can do that multiplication in my head. 8 times 6 times 7, x to the 0 times x to the 4th, y to the 2nd times, this has got a 1 there, y to the 1st times y to the 5th. Yeah, I don't know that one off the top of my head. So we're going to use the calculator. 8 times 42, 336. X to the 0 plus 4, y to the 2 plus 1 plus 5. So 336, x to the 4th, y to the 8th. Nine times 8 times 5, u to the 3rd times u to the 4th times u to the 5th, v to the 0 times v squared. Again, I don't know that off the top of my head. So 72 times 5, 360. U, 3 plus 4 plus 5. V, 0 plus 2. So that would get me 360. U to the 12th. V to the 2nd. Oh, and voila, that's it. And then you would just color